Hello friends, Kisan is here again and welcome you in this video tutorial. In previous video tutorial, we have talked about the Spring Boot default logging configuration. In this video, we are going to learn some more things about the Spring Boot logging configuration. So this is the project which we had created in our previous video tutorial. Here we have a bootstrap class, and from where our Spring Boot application starts running. I have annotated this class with @controller as well, so this will serve the two purposes. One is for bootstrap class and second is for the REST controller as well. And we have added a simple REST API which basically returns a string on the browser when you hit the base URL of this application, right? Pretty straightforward. And here we have our application dot properties, and there we can write a lot of properties related to the Spring Boot loggers, right? So before making any entry in this application dot properties file, what I'll do, I'll go to the main method, and here or before that we would like to add some loggers over here. So private, I would say static final loggers, and we will have a lot of import options over here. I'm going to import from the SLF4J package. So if you see, you have a lot of import, so I'll import from the SLF4J, and I would say loggers equal to logger factory. I would say logger factory, and I would say get loggers, and here we'll have to pass the class. Okay, and this logger constant, this variable I'm going to use inside this main method to specify different type of logging levels. So as we have discussed in previous video, we have a different logger levels. So I would say logger dot error logger dot error, and here just I will print a message logged at error level. Let's say message logged at error level, right? And similarly, I'll copy this message four times, and the first error level we are using error, then I'm going to use warn, info and debug. Warn, info, and finally I would say debug. Okay, and let's run this application and see. So default logging level is info in Spring Boot application, as we have discussed earlier, right? So if I run this application, then you can see on the console we have a 4 loggers message, right? On different logging levels for error, warn, info and debug. So as I said, info is the default logging level in Spring Boot application. So we'll get a message which is printed by these upper 3 levels, right? Logging levels, but we'll not get the message print by this debug level, right? Because info is more restrictive than debug. That's the reason. So now we have ran this application. Now you can see the Eclipse console here. uh, you can see logging label. Initially you have info, and finally loggers which we want to print. So error 1 and info got printed, right? So here you can see the message logged at error level, warn level, and info level, which is coming from our application class, right? But debug level is not getting printed because uh, info is more restricted logging level than debug, right? So if you want to put logging level as debug, then how we can do that? So we have a application.properties, and here you can apply a lot of property. One of the properties is called logging dot level dot root, and here you can assign different value over here. So as I discussed, default value is info, right? So you have a opportunity to assign different value. If you want the debug, then debug. These are the different levels. You have a debug, error, fatal, info, off, trace, and warn, right? So if you specify the debug, then now our application uh, uh, logging level would be debug. So if I stop the server and I rerun, then you'll see so I have stopped the server, I have killed the server, and just I'm going to try to run it again, and at this time you'll see login level is debug. So you can see debug level is, and you'll get a lot of loggers are getting printed because of debug level. So debug level, as we have discussed, this is basically recommended for the development phase. This is not basically recommended for the prod mode, right? So here you can see debug mode, right? So now you can see a lot of loggers are getting printed. So as I said, if you specify the logging level as debug, right, then info, warn, error, etc. will be printed, right? Now this is the one thing we have learned, how to change the logging level in application.properties. So setting logging levels: when a message is logged via a logger, it is logged with a certain log level. In the application.properties file, you can define log levels of the Spring Boot loggers, Spring Boot loggers, application loggers, Hibernate loggers, theme leaf loggers, and many more. To set the logging levels for any logger, add properties starting with logging.levels. So logging levels can be one of, like, you can set a trace, debug, info, warn, error, fatal, or off. If you set the off, then all logging levels will be turned off. So basically this is not recommended. The root logging level can be configured using logging.level.root, right, which we have just seen. If you go to if you print like this and you press control tab, then you'll get a lot of auto support, right? So here you'll get auto support. So you can set the different logging levels for the like a Spring Boot or a Spring framework or Hibernate framework. Like here I can say logging.level.arg dot I would say a Spring framework. So you can see, so a Spring framework. So a Spring framework has a lot of modules. So you can set loggers for any specific module. Suppose if you want to set logging levels for the Spring framework web, then you can set logging level for Spring framework web as well, like info, right? Any logging levels you can, even you can set like logging.level. com.infotech.app. So that is for our application, right? So here what you can do, you can set logging levels logging dot label dot com dot info tech dot app, right, which is our application. And here you can see a lot of auto supports are coming. and this is our class. So you can specify the login level for your own class as well, or you can specify the login level for entire package itself, right? So here I can say info, you can specify info, right? So you have opportunity to set root login levels, or if you want to set login levels for the specific modules, right, you can do that. If you want to set the login levels for your own application, right, so you can specify with package as well. So after modifying this one, we have set the login levels as info. If I run this application, then again debug level would be info itself, right? See, this info is coming, right? And when you set the info, then error and warn also will be printed, right? But debug is getting suppressed, right? So this is the way to set logging levels in application dot properties file in Spring Boot application, right? So now next thing we'll see setting logging pattern, how we can set the logging pattern in our. So here you can see default logging pattern is the first we have a time stamp, so we have a date, and then time is getting recorded into the millisecond precision, right? But if you want to print only in seconds, right, this is hour, minute and seconds, then if you can specify logging pattern like this. These things you can specify in your application dot properties. So this pattern we are going to specify for the logging pattern for the console, and if you want to roll these loggings into the somewhere in the file, then we can specify the logging pattern for the file as well. So for file, just I am commenting. Now for console we have given this pattern, so this will print the day and date in this format, and hour, minute and seconds. This is not going to record time into the millisecond precision. So if I run this application, then you can see now second will not be come into the now here you can see time, hour, minute and seconds. So second is not getting printed in the millisecond precision. So in that way you can specify the logging pattern for the console, right? If you want to specify the logging pattern for the file, that also you can specify like this, and you can specify the file name where you want to print the logging information, right? So there are two ways to specify the file name. First, logging.path, right? And here either you can specify the complete name of your location where you want to log the files, or you can give the relative path. So I am going to specify the logs, simply logs. So if I run this application, then logs folder will be created into the our application, and there Spring will create a file is called spring.log. So after running this application, so that application got stopped because that port was already in use. So let's run it again, and after running this application, if you refresh this application, let's refresh it. So my machine is a bit slow, so let me refresh this application, and here you can see logs folder has been created, and spring.logs file is getting created, and all loggers are getting printed in this file, right? So here you learned how to log information to somewhere in the log file by specifying logger.path, and just you need to specify the directory name. So this directly I have specified the directory name, so this directory has been created in the project itself, and there you can see spring.log is getting created. So in next video we'll see some more details on the logging, Spring Boot logging. So thanks for watching this video, and see you next video tutorial.